The autumn sun cast golden rays through the towering glass buildings of Manhattan's Diamond District, where millions of dollars worth of precious gems exchanged hands every day. Among the glittering storefronts and bustling crowds walked Isabella Chen, a 28-year-old jewelry designer whose creations had recently caught the attention of high society circles. With her designer sunglasses, elegant camel coat, and the distinctive white cane she carried, she moved through the crowded sidewalk with practiced grace. But Isabella Chen harbored a secret that would soon become a matter of life and death. She wasn't blind, not even close. 3 months earlier, Isabella had witnessed something she was never meant to see. While working late at Castellano's Fine Jewelry, where she designed custom pieces for New York's elite, she had stumbled upon her boss, Vincent Castellano, meeting with dangerous men in the back vault. Through a crack in the door, she watched as briefcases full of cash were exchanged for small velvet pouches, blood diamonds, funding conflicts overseas. Her heart had nearly stopped when Vincent's cold eyes suddenly locked with hers through that narrow opening. "Who's there?" His voice had cut through the air like a blade. Isabella's mind raced. She knew too much. In that split second, as Vincent strode toward the door, she made a decision that would alter the course of her life. She stumbled backward, knocking over a display case, her hands flailing in the air. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry," she cried out, her eyes staring blankly past Vincent as he yanked open the door. "I heard voices and got disoriented. I was just looking for the restroom." Vincent had frozen, studying her face with suspicion. Isabella kept her gaze unfocused, slightly upward and to the left, exactly as she'd seen in documentaries about visual impairment. "You're blind?" Vincent's voice dripped with skepticism. Since birth, Isabella lied, her voice trembling with what she hoped sounded like embarrassment rather than terror. "I usually manage fine, but this is only my second week here. I'm still learning the layout." She watched from her peripheral vision as Vincent's expression shifted from suspicion to calculated assessment. A blind witness was no witness at all. Over the following weeks, Isabella committed to her deception with the dedication of a method actor preparing for the role of a lifetime. She practiced walking with her cane, learned Braille, studied how blind individuals interacted with their environment. She removed all visual references from her conversations, described everything by touch and sound. But more importantly, she was gathering evidence. Every night, Isabella would return to her small apartment in Brooklyn, shed her dark glasses, and meticulously document everything she had overheard at the jewelry store. Names, dates, phone numbers whispered in the vault. Shipment schedules. She was building a case, secretly working with an FBI agent named Marcus Rivera, who had been investigating Castellano for years. "You're taking an incredible risk," Marcus had told her during one of their clandestine meetings. "If he discovers, you can see." "Then I'll disappear," Isabella had replied, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her veins. "But if I don't do this, how many more people will die mining those stones? How many more conflicts will be funded?" The real test came on a frigid November evening. Isabella was working late, organizing designs by touch in her studio at the back of the shop. Through the walls, she heard Vincent's voice rise in anger, speaking in rapid Italian. Then another voice, younger, desperate. "Please, Mr. Castellano, I swear I didn't take anything. I would never." It was Marco, the young apprentice goldsmith who had started just weeks before Isabella. He was only 19, sending money back to his family in Naples, studying jewelry design at night school. Isabella's heart sank as she realized what was happening. Someone had noticed discrepancies in the diamond inventory, and Marco was being blamed. Through the crack beneath her studio door, Isabella could see shadows moving. She heard the sickening sound of a fist connecting with flesh, Marco's cry of pain. "You think I'm stupid?" Vincent snarled. "Someone's been documenting my shipments. Someone's been asking questions, and you're the newest employee. It wasn't me. I swear on my mother's life." Isabella's hands trembled as she gripped her cane. She knew what came next. Vincent didn't tolerate loose ends. Marco would disappear, another casualty of a brutal criminal enterprise. She thought of Marcus's warnings, of the danger she would face if she revealed herself. But she also thought of her own mother, who had raised her with a simple philosophy: we are only as good as what we are willing to sacrifice for others. Taking a deep breath, Isabella knocked over a tray of tools, creating a loud crash. She stumbled out of her studio, her cane sweeping before her. "Hello, is someone there?" I heard shouting. Vincent's voice turned cold. "Isabella, go home. Now, I'm sorry, I just..." She moved forward, making her way toward Vincent's voice with her characteristic, unfocused gaze. "I dropped my phone earlier today. I think it might be near your office. I needed to call my car service." She stumbled slightly, reaching out to steady herself, her hand landing on Marco's shoulder. She could feel him trembling, sense the blood trickling from his split lip. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. "You sound hurt." "He's fine," Vincent snapped. "And your phone isn't here. Leave." But Isabella had already pressed something small and hard into Marco's palm, a USB drive containing all her evidence, her insurance policy. In that brief moment of contact, she squeezed his hand in a pattern she hoped he would understand. "Get out. Run, FBI." "Mr. Castellano," she said, her voice taking on a quality she'd never used before. Stronger, clearer. "I know I'm supposed to be just your blind little designer, grateful for the opportunity you gave me. But I'm not stupid." She paused, letting her dark glasses slip down her nose just an inch. "And I'm not blind." The room went silent. Isabella could feel Vincent's shock, see from the corner of her eye how his hand moved toward his jacket pocket. Time seemed to slow. "For 3 months, I've documented everything," she continued, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "Every shipment, every transaction, every name. That information is with the FBI, with my lawyer, with journalists. If anything happens to me or to Marco, it all goes public." You little Vincent lunged forward, but Isabella was faster. She pressed a button on her smartwatch, and suddenly the room flooded with federal agents, led by Marcus Rivera. They had been waiting outside, listening through the wire Isabella wore. "Vincent Castellano, you're under arrest," Marcus announced, his voice ringing with authority. As Marco was led away safely, tears streaming down his young face, he turned back to Isabella. "You saved my life," he whispered in wonder. Isabella smiled, removing her glasses fully for the first time in months. "We save each other," she replied softly. "That's what makes us human." Isabella stood in a small gallery in Soho, surrounded by her new jewelry collection, Clarity. Each piece was designed with ethically sourced stones, and a portion of proceeds went to organizations fighting blood diamond trafficking. The collection had become a sensation, not just for its beauty, but for the story behind it. Marco stood beside her, now her apprentice designer, working on pieces that told stories of courage and redemption. Vincent Castellano and his network were behind bars, and dozens of victims had been identified and supported with restitution funds. "Do you ever regret it?" a journalist asked Isabella during the gallery opening. "The danger you put yourself in." Isabella thought about those 3 months of living in blindness, of the fear that had been her constant companion, of that terrifying moment when she revealed herself to save a young man's life. "Regret," she said, looking around at the room filled with people celebrating not just beauty, but justice and courage. "No, I pretended I couldn't see so that eventually everyone else could. Sometimes we have to walk through darkness to bring others into the light." She picked up one of her designs, a pendant featuring a clear diamond surrounded by intricate metalwork shaped like a lie. "This piece is called The Truth, because the most beautiful thing we can do is see each other as humanity and act on it, no matter the cost." As the evening wore on, Isabella caught her reflection in a gallery mirror. The woman staring back was transformed, no longer hiding, no longer pretending. She had learned that true vision wasn't about what the eyes could see, but about what the heart was willing to risk. And in that moment, she had never seen more clearly.